Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Ankerstar Wealth Market Update. I'm your host, Alice Ankerstar, and today we'll be talking about the stock market's volatile week, the move up in marijuana stocks, and the increase in price for Amazon Prime. But before we begin, as a reminder, this financial education presentation should not be construed as personal financial advice. Full disclaimer information is available at ankerstarwealth.com. Good morning, Steve. Volatility continues to rule the markets. What's your take on where we are and where we are going?
Well, it certainly has been an interesting week, and you can see the futures are in the green there. What we'll look at specifically is the S&P 500 and go to the 5-day chart since we're talking about this week. So it's been a down, up pattern for the first 4 days this week. So what does that mean for Friday? Well, nothing, right? It's not based on daily moves. However, I will say that when you see the down, up, pattern, that means the market really doesn't know exactly where it wants to go from here. If you zoom out a little bit, let's look at the 3-month chart. You can see, okay, well, we are in this nice bounce, if you will. We talked about the 50% retracement. I believe yesterday of this has occurred 21 times after a bear market, and all 21 times that marked the end of the bear market, meaning we don't subsequently go back to, on this chart, it would be, the 4,200 level in the S&P. So overall, I'm very optimistic that the bottom is in. I'm not so sure that we're going to hold the level right here, but the fact that the futures are holding in the green is a good sign, but that's not really what you can, really invest on necessarily. Like today is the day to jam, all the money in. So if you have money sitting on the sidelines and you want to work it into market, I think that's the best way, is to kind of just work it in slowly over time in this area as the market tries to figure out its way forward. So in conclusion, I think the overall bottom is in, but it's not necessarily going to be a screaming higher today, Friday, that we've seen in the past.
Next, cannabis stocks are big this morning on news that the House of Representatives will vote again on federal legalization of marijuana next week. Are marijuana stocks a buy, sell, or hold?
Well, this is one of those things that, honestly, was one of the major themes coming out of 2020 after the elections results came in, and the blue wave, if you will. Many of us thought, I certainly thought, that the legalization of marijuana would be near the top of the agenda. The House, as you can see in the article here, this is on CNBC, you can see, the House did pass this already in 2020, but the Senate did not. So it's interesting that it kind of stalled back then, and I don't remember exactly why, but it was kind of a surprise to everybody. And then things got busy. So it just didn't make it back up to the top of the agenda until now, 2 years later, if you will. But certainly when you look at the names below, if you go individual names in the marijuana space, Tilray, Aurora Cannabis, Canopy Growth are 3 for sure that I've all been in. We went into these in 2020 right after the vote, thinking that if they legalize at the federal level, then the states, which have been kind of controlling their independent rules, now it makes it easier for everybody just to legalize and move forward. However, it didn't happen last time. Senate didn't even vote, if I remember right, last time. So we'll see what sort of strength this has, but certainly in the short term, the marijuana stocks are on the rise. When you think of how I invest in the marijuana space, I'm more of a fan of using the index fund, just because there's so many players in the space and hardly any of them are profitable, and there's just a lot going on. So I think the best way to invest is through the index fund. But you can look at, this is a 1-year chart. Let's go 5-year. In a 5-year chart, and look at, sorry for swinging it all over the place there, but really we've been down to $11 in March of 2020. We visited that again later this year. Here was the hope that things would bounce, and it did not. I mean, it has really just been a house of pain in investing in MJ. I like it though. If you're up for the risk, I would throw this in there with Chinese stocks. If you're up for the risk, it can be a good place to make some money. But in some, if it doesn't get passed, I don't know that this is going to continue higher. It may just continue to sell off.
Last, Amazon is in the process of raising their price for Amazon Prime from $119 to $139. Is this good for Amazon stock?
Well, I think it's great for Amazon stock. So whenever there's a price increase, you have to ask yourself a couple things. And the article in front of you is off CNBC. If you want to pull it up, it's really informative on all the value you get from your Amazon Prime membership, which I don't think we use, maybe half of it. But, I do like the stuff, the 2-day delivery, sometimes, office supplies. If you have a home office supplies sometimes show up within a few hours, like a printer cartridge. It's on your doorstep in like 3 hours. So that's kind of neat. I like that. So is it worth it? So, well, first of all, it's how's it going to affect the stock? Certainly we have the 20-to-1 split coming up for Amazon this summer. We have a stock buyback coming up, so they could potentially load up on their stock, again, reducing shares, making each fractional share or each individual share fractionally worth more ownership of the company. So those are good signs. Both of those are catalysts for the stock to go higher. And when you talk about a price increase for all the people out there that have it, is that good? Yes, that's just extra $20 of revenue. When you think, $119 to $139 of increase, and it's already underway for new Amazon Prime members. The current members, like myself, haven't seen the price increase yet. I think that's coming this month. But when you think, all of that is good for the stock. You have to think whenever there's a price increase, whether it's goods or services, you have to price and scale. There's going to be extra revenue for all the shares that you have. And then there's going to be a certain amount of loss from people that refuse to pay the higher price. So when you're doing that math, you have to think of how sticky, is a business term, how sticky is the customer, if you will, as far as is $20 going to make a difference to your Amazon Prime, bell curve of, demographic, right? So there's going to be the rich that don't care. There's going to be the upper middle class, which my assessment would be probably don't care about a $20 annual increase. But there is going to be along that spectrum somewhere there a group of people that are going to care or can't afford the extra $20. I understand that, that are going to drop it, right? I think that's very few people that they're going to lose over the price increase. So over the bell curve, if you think, we lose the 1 or 2% on one side of the curve and the other 98% just, happily pay the extra $20 because they believe in the service. So overall, I think Amazon stock has a ton of things going for it, of which is the price increase. And, my personal take is 139 is still well worth the money for all the stuff that they deliver. And if you want to see all of the things, this article is great. Again, it's on CNBC if you want to check it out.
Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Please submit your questions as a comment through social media or directly to our email at vipservices@ankerstarwealth.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe to get daily updates. That's all we have for today's show. I'm Allison Ankerstar, and we'll see you back here Monday.